Hey, welcome back to another video. Where to start? I've been thinking about kind of like making a video. It's more about me talking about random stuff, to kind of really let you guys know what I've been feeling, what I've been finding in my life and every single day. Few things, the things that I love about Japan. I've been thinking a lot about, because I've been talking to my friends about vacation. I already booked a vacation to Japan, Tokyo, Taipei, and Hong Kong. Pretty excited about it. And then, being in Europe, and obviously the upsides and downsides, pros and cons of living in Europe or North America or Japan. Wherever you are living, there's always a good and a bad sides of it. Like living in Europe, it's really good in terms of having really great, one of the best work and life balance. Like we get to have like 4, 5, 6 weeks vacations minimum. But the things that I don't like so much about living here is that food is not as good. Will never be as good as ones in Japan or Asia, like Korea, Taiwan, or Thailand, or Vietnam. But just, in my opinion, like I grew up in Japan for like first 20 years, and being used to that one of the best tasting food in the entire world. I guess French and Japanese are one of the top in terms of most subtle, has a most subtle taste, most classy food in the world. So we're pretty picky about food, right? French and Japanese, because we have really developed really subtle and sensitive taste for food. So that's something that I'm super excited about going back to Japan. And what I love about Japan is that the food and also street is so clean. Crime rate is so low. Street is super clean and people follow the order. So in general, it's not like super dirty. It's well maintained, and that is quite different if you come to Europe or United States. So I've heard about this from ex-French roommate and a French coworker that Japanese people have this kind of fantasy expectation about Europe, and especially Western European cities like Paris, London, or Italy. But I've heard multiple times that Paris is really dirty. Crime rate is really high as well. Even French people are pretty scared about those immigrants or refugees trying to steal, like doing pickpocket and stuff. Based on my anecdotes from my ex-roommates and stuff. But in Europe, cities are not that clean. I mean, never is going to be as clean as like Japanese cities, which is okay. It's not like super dirty, but like in Southeast Asia, like Thailand, like Philippines, they smell even more, right? But Europe, still like you see like a lot of cigarette butts on the street, or like streets not so clean, like sidewalks not that clean, etc. Anyways, so I love Japan for food and touristy stuff that I can do, but I don't love Japan for like shitty work-life balance or pretty strict social orders. It's really restricting, and it's very top-down. It is really, I would say, archaic, not kind of modern. It's, people say a lot of respect paid to elder people, but that creates complexity in terms of communication and business. I don't like that. I like more flat and not hierarchical and bottom-up kind of structure, as opposed to really top-down or micromanagement kind of style. Anyways, so what I've been doing is really still like studying computer science, computer networking, DevOps, Linux, Unix system, scripting, What else I'm studying? Cloud computing. Study a lot, like reading a lot about documentation and stuff. Um, yeah, it's really good to feel like I'm learning something and growing. Even after like 3.5 years in the industry, I never in this industry, if you're a software engineer, never really stop learning about new stuff because it's constant learning, constant adaptation, and that keeps me going because I don't get bored. Keeps my brain sharp, which is really good. Other stuff. Oh yeah, kind of because I have been like living outside Japan for so long, like almost 9 years. So I start having I watched this Japanese breakfast buffet YouTube video, and I was so surprised to kind of relearn about or get reminded about typical Japanese food, which consists of mainly like vegetables and beans. A lot of beans like tofu or red beans, green beans. A lot of vegetables. Because I get used to like seeing all different kind of foods, like North American food, pizza, burgers, fries. What else? Like steak and potatoes. In Europe here, it's really messed up in that their food is like so bland, and like I didn't know about the thing, but they have a thing called a potato, bread roll, which is basically bread but rolled up like a rice ball, but bread, using bread instead of rice. So they have a bread roll which tastes like nothing, and also they have dumplings. Depending on the countries, dumpling means different. So dumpling in China is like wonton, like a dumpling, right? Deep fried dumpling is a kind of gyoza, or steamed the dumpling in Poland and Ukraine are like called a pierogi, whereas in like Czech Republic and in Germany, dumplings are called just like kind of hash brown potatoes. It's kind of stuff. So yeah, I started like having this kind of sense of like I feel like I'm like looking at certain things like about Japanese culture or like even food from a foreigner's perspective, because I've been so away from like Japan that reality, like my reality is so far off from like Japanese reality, so that just looking at that classic Japanese food made me like feel like kind of like eye-opening to look at those, because when I say when we talk about Japanese food in like abroad, we only talk about like maybe few foods like sushi, ramen, teriyaki. Chicken teriyaki is pretty famous because it's tasty and sweet, because of teriyaki sauce. So sushi is number one most known Japanese food. Some people actually don't know or haven't tried ramen yet, but ramen is probably second most popular Japanese food, and then third, I don't know, sushi, ramen, tofu is kind of known, yeah, but they don't know much about like let's say takoyaki or okonomiyaki or so see like the Japanese food, it's kind of selections and limited abroad, so I start forgetting about all other Japanese food that existed, and then I watched a YouTube video like Japanese classic buffet video, and I can't remember what they had. Oh yeah, nikujaga is Japanese one. A lot of vegetables like kimpira gobo or tofu based one like natto. Mabo tofu is Japanese. A lot, I can't remember everything, but like a lot of fish like pan fried fish like sardines, mackerels, salmon. They all look so good. Yeah, so today's video is kind of like this, just random stuff. Super excited for vacations. I already planned and booked a flight. Maybe I talked about this in the last video, but I already booked a flight to Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, October, November, and oh yeah, I gotta tell you guys, once like once you live in Europe, like like Central, like or East Central or Western European cities, taking vacation to like Spain, Portugal, Croatia, Italy, France, Switzerland become much easier. So like it takes just few hours bus ride to, let's say, go to Italy, maybe 3, 4, 5 hours, or you can fly 1 or 2 hours to go to Spain, Portugal, or France, or Croatia. Sounds super exciting, right? Because it's so close by. It's so reachable. Its connectivity is so good. So you can do that in a long weekends, just 3 days trip. So I was talking to my coworkers about really planning a trip to Switzerland this summer, maybe next 2 months. Switzerland or Ibiza in Spain for like partying hard, or Croatia beach partying hard, or Ukraine, Odessa beach. So I really want to do that because this summer is gonna be European vacation summer, and then winter is gonna be about Asia for warmer weather. Yeah. A lot of stuff, like cultural stuff, cultural difference is pretty apparent here, but I kind of keep forgetting because been working on like daily routines and stuff. What else to talk about? Oh yeah, German. I don't know. The food wise, like I'm like really still dieting. Oh yeah, in Germany. So when you buy stuff, like I bought a new camera called the Sony A7 Mark II on Amazon Prime Day, and in Europe, I don't know if it's in Germany or in EU area, but manufacturer warranty is pretty long, like 2 years, which is pretty good. Its standard is like 1 year in Japan. I checked it, also in Canada or North America, but I noticed like all the electronics standard is like 2 years. Same in like I just bought a new phone, which is the one that I'm filming with, OnePlus 6. If you buy it in the EU region, the default manufacturer warranty is 2 years. That's one of the reasons why probably electronics price a little higher than like Japan or North American ones, which is okay because extending like extra 1 year of warranty is gonna cost like $56, $50-$60 more. So I guess what I'm paying like extra 50 for warranty. That's something that I noticed. What else? Yeah, what I guess you guys want to know what I'm thinking, like my goal, like where I'm going from now, or like why I'm here. So I'll give you guys like rundown, like why, like oh, I played baseball. Yes, sir. Practice baseball. So now I have like a little hemorrhage inside my palm because the bat grip here. But it was fun. Baseball. They have a Bundesliga, and it's kind of good enough for me because it's not super competitive. They're not as good because it's the German, right? They play football the most, so it's just good for me because it's not super competitive and it's just kind of entertaining. I can just practice hitting balls and throwing balls and have fun after work, which is really nice. Kind of like playing softball in Vancouver. It's kind of like recreational / half competitive because they want to win. So it was like unexpected. People I think like to know more about Japan thing because my YouTube channel has Japanese in its name. So I guess people get pretty intrigued by some of the stuff. Oh yeah, also let's talk about that stuff. I was talking to my roommate about Japanese, like what Japanese family look like, or why Japanese family don't do certain things. I explained to him, it's hard to come up with that kind of stuff, But I was explaining to him basically that every time like I talk about this Japanese family thing, I kind of love family love, and people get weirded out because it's so, for them it's so normal to say like I love you, right? From parents to kids or kids to parents, they say I love you. But in Japan, nobody say I love you to parents or kids because there's no equivalent Japanese phrase for I love you. It sounds super weird or creepy to say I love you, because I love you is like in Japanese is like aishiteru, like a direct translation of it. Maybe there might be a different translation, but if you say I love you, which is aishiteru, which is really for couples to use, right? And even Japanese couples or wife and husband or boyfriend and girlfriend, in my understanding, they don't really say I love you, because Japanese culture in terms of communication is really more implicit as opposed to explicit and a direct and an open communication, which happens to be more in let's say Western societies. Not all, but let's say North American for sure, right? So Japanese don't really say I love you. Like, it's a little more like reserved. So given that, Japanese family we don't say I love you to parents. It's pretty apparent in some of the habits inherited from the previous generations, from like Edo era or like from samurai bushido, where that we like older people still value this saying, like proverb, like silence is gold, and especially for men. I remember my dad told me to be quieter instead of chatting louder, because one of the bodies for men is being quiet, less talking but more actions. So it was kind of depressing for me to hear that, because as a kid you wanted to express emotions, right? But then like traditional people tell you like, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this, like men are not supposed to show emotions. So that's why if you go to funerals in Japan, men are not supposed to cry, like show emotions, because they're supposed to look strong. I don't know, so that's the kind of thing. So basically what I wanted to tell you is that, like foreign friends ask me like, oh, so you call your parents weekly or blah blah blah, and no, like Japanese, my understanding is the Japanese people, like family relationships are a little more distant, or I would say more independent, as opposed to super dependent and super closely tied, like Korean parents and kids, or Chinese, Vietnamese, they're super tight, right? So I'm here, or Indian, right? It's from How I Met My Mother, that Indian guy Skyping to his parents like every night. Same thing, like I had friends, Korean friends, they talk to their parents almost every day or every week. Chinese one as well, Vietnamese too. But Japanese, I don't really hear that. Not just me, but especially guys, Japanese guys and Japanese and their moms, they don't really talk that much, I believe, right? And then probably Japanese guys, sons and dads, not much, right? And then when I say that, like, like when did I talk to my parents? Maybe my case is a little different, but like, they kind of expect you to talk to their parents like at least once a week or so if you are like living abroad. But I don't do that. And I was reading a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and the metrics is different for everybody. Your metrics might be how close you are with their parents or family. Your metrics might be frequency of communication, but it might be different, and it is okay. It doesn't mean more frequently you talk to your parents doesn't mean you guys are close. So that's what the author was saying, Mark Manson. It could be less frequent, meaning more trust, right? Or independence. Anyway, so that's one of the things that I want to talk about. Japanese family thing. People like Japanese family or parents and kids don't really express like, never I don't think they never say I love you Yeah, I love you is different. But they would say something equivalent to I love you in a direct translation of Japanese to English would be like, oh, thank you so much, I appreciate something, stuff like that. Or yeah, they don't say like when they hung up, before they hung up the call, they don't say like, oh, I love you. They don't say that. Okay, it's just that's how it is in Japan. Okay, and they're not so close. Like they are much more distant, parents and kids, in general, compared to like Korean, super crazy. They like it's almost to the point of like Korean and Chinese. Or I heard of Chinese parents come to, even if their kids get married, parents come to their kids' place. Even they're adults, right? They're married. Kids are already married. But parents come to their kids' place and then cook food, do laundries, and they even like go into their rooms and open up the drawers and then like put clothing to the drawers. That's too much. It's kind of like helicopter. It's almost the point of like trying to look good, trying to be respected, trying to be appreciated by overdoing it. It's like kind of weird. Holding kind of there's a fine line between doing everything for them or holding themselves accountable for their own problems. For example, like marriage life should be independent. So parents should hold their kids accountable for their own thing. They shouldn't like intervene or come, everything to help everything. That's not like really help it. But Asian parents do that, like Chinese and Korean. I saw that on a TV, Anyways, I'll stop here. It's been 21 minutes. But yeah, I've been studying. This weekend's gonna be just studying. The reason being, I'm doing another interview challenge, so it'll be good for me. And yeah, after that, vacations are waiting. Excited, food, still going to the gym. Yeah, but yeah, I'll cut it short. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you guys have anything, topics that you want to talk about, let me know in the comment section so that I can make a video. I can maybe talk about it. I'll keep continuing with this kind of more casual, kind of conversational video because it's kind of easy for me to talk about that. I think it's more real for you guys. I think I come off more real because I'm talking to you guys. Alright, anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.